Happy 2025 Earth signs. Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. This is your reading. I hope 2024 treated you well. I know it was a bit of a chaotic one for many people, so I hope you're ready for the new year, ready for some fresh energy, and we'll see what the readings have in store for you. If you haven't been here before, hi, my name's Maggie. I'm a tarot reader, psychic medium, and past life regression practitioner. You can find me here or over on Instagram at Spring Loon Oracle. I do readings every single month along with other magical, witchy content like vlogs, recommendations, and deep dives. So I hope you subscribe and like this video if it resonates with you. But without further ado, we'll get into the readings today. Make sure that you stay to the end of your reading because I will have pulled you a card for the energy of the month to help you balance your energy. And I also went a little extra this month and I pulled you a card for 2025 just to give you a little glimpse into that year. At the very end of the video, in the closing thoughts, we have astrological updates specifically for the earth signs to see what's going on up in the sky and how that could impact you and your life. And one more thing before we get into the readings is if you love these, if you find they really resonate with you and you're looking for more one-to-one, something that's a little bit more personalized, I have 2025 readings where we sit down on an hour-long video chat and I pull cards for every single month of 2025 to see what energy is in store for you, what opportunities, what to look out for, and we'll really dive into your year. And because I love you and you're here supporting me, you can use the code YouTube and get 15% off your reading. I only have a few of them left, so if you want one, go grab one, and hopefully I will chat with you soon and we can dive into the magic of 2025 together. All right, and now without further ado, let's jump into Capricorn's reading. Happy birthday, January Capricorns. Let's see what this month has in store for you, and happy new year, happy 2025. All right, I feel like you've been flowing, you've been vibing for a bit. Maybe this is a good thing, or maybe you've just been sort of like flowing and you're like, I don't really like where I am, but I don't know what to do about it. So I'm just gonna stay because at least it's comfortable, at least it's familiar. But it's time to look at what is holding you back this month. It's time to sort of stop with the complacency, stop just sort of muddling around. This is a time to, if you're not at least taking action, it's a time for goals. It's a time to say, it's time to get things figured out, because we have the reversed King of Cups here saying we're not just flowing with alignment, we're not flowing safely anymore. You're kind of flowing in this contained space that's not bringing you anywhere. So it's time to take the action and start to move forwards. There are things that you are blowing out of proportion. There's excuses you're making where you're like, oh, this is so difficult, this is so difficult. And if you just looked at it from a different perspective, you could just step over them and keep moving forwards. You've been having wins, so you're like, see, things are working out, I'm having wins. But deep down, you know that these are just hollow wins. You haven't been feeling full-bodied about them. You haven't been feeling excited about them, and you deserve that. And last off, we have the literal excuses card. So we have the Eight of Swords here. This is saying that you're saying there's all these reasons out in the outside world why you can't do things. Like, my environment is not right. It's not the right time. This, and this make it so I can't do it. But it's saying these aren't here. They're literally, no one is standing around you with a sword holding you in space. They're literally just these excuses, these swords stuck in the ground, stuck stubbornly in your heart, in your mind, blocking your view of your goals, blocking the view of the castle. It's sort of like you're keeping yourself here, and it's time to set those aside, set those excuses aside, and finally start to move forwards. Because honestly, even though you feel like, oh yeah, everything's okay, everything's good right now, you're not flowing with your energy. The Empress is upside down. You're flowing with just like this stagnated energy, and it's time to get moving. Now, it's also a time to get balanced. You're also not balanced in your energy. I think there's like almost with a lot of you Capricorns this facade that you have this certain control, but when you actually start to look closer at it, you're not super happy with what you're controlling. And so therefore you're very out of alignment with your energy and you're very out of balance. And honestly, I'd love to give you the magic solution. I'd love to be like, oh, it's going to get easier and all of a sudden you're going to be doing things, but really it's just going to take strength. Just the strength card. It's going to take strength to finally make a decision that is based on your intuition, your heart, blocking out the outside world and being like, this is what I need to do for me. This is what I'm being called to do. The time of reflection is over. We're not reflecting. We're not figuring things out. We're acting. You're taking that time. You're making those movements. There's going to be extra pushback because I'll talk about it at the end, but Mars is in retrograde. So it's going to be extra pushback of like the energy isn't really aligned right now in the cosmos for you to be taking action, but you are being called to be like, even if it's just starting, even if it's just that first step, it's time to get it rolling because look at this new beginning card we give at the end. I think for a lot of you, this has to do with career and money. Maybe it's a new job, maybe it's a new path, maybe it's wanting to do something different within your role. And it's like, okay, I need to make it happen. I can't just stay here. But whatever it is, it has to do with abundance. So that's why a lot of you, I think it has to do with money and finances, but abundance can come in other ways. And this is a collective reading. So I would ask yourself, what in my life makes me feel rich? What am I looking for more of as an abundance? And what do I need to feel like I have a rich life? And how is it that I need to start working towards it and stop sort of like staying in complacency? All right, let's look at your energy card for the month. We have the Bear. So this is your sign for the month. Now I'm going to look in the guidebook because I don't have them all memorized, except I do know that the Bear is all about waking up and awaking from a slumber. So it's sort of like, yeah, waking from a spiritual slumber, but I think this can also just be like a life slumber. Like, oh my gosh, why have I been sleeping? Why have I been just walking through life this way for so long? But it's also the beginning a new energy. After a long winter, the Bear rises from a deep slumber. At first, the movement and effort are more difficult, but the Bear knows it's time to awaken and move towards the dawning light. I literally was like, it might be a little difficult with Mars in retrograde, and this is saying it word for word. The Bear card represents an individual on the cusp of new directions and personal transformation. The initial weeks and months of this spiritual quest may feel tricky, cumbersome, and full of obstacles, but you have no choice, Bear. Winter wanes and the warmth of spring emerges, and your transformation is about to begin. When you're in balance this month, you're going to feel a strong sense of that inner strength and a yearning to grow and excitement about moving forwards. When you're out of balance, withdrawal, feeling lethargic, heaviness, sort of putting it back on pause again. And to bring back into balance is movement and exercise. Get that body moving, get that adrenaline or the endorphins going. And it's like, okay, let's move forward. I've got this. I've got this. Shake off that stagnancy. And now for your 2025 card, we pulled the Unicorn. This is a special card, so there's only 7 out of, I think there's 78 cards in this deck. Only 7 of them are these special spirit cards, so they're sort of like Major Arcana, except even more rare. So the fact that you pulled one for your year ahead does mean it's a really big year for you. This is reconnecting to higher wisdom or divinity. It's that crown chakra. It's the top of the head energy. If you don't know what that means, don't worry, I'll explain it. But I think it goes really hand in hand with your card. It's like, it is a bit of a spiritual awakening, a spiritual coming to. It's difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago? The mind answers maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from, and if we can really trust it. We think about a higher power, and our mind hesitates between yes and no. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up. You're just being woken up this year. Woken up. Oh my gosh, how funny is that? To curiosity about the higher self and the divine. It's the card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplainable. The mind's eye knows there's something beyond our day-to-day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn, and you've begun your quest for answers. So it's all about finding the answers to your questions. I said it was the crown chakra. I was wrong. It's your third eye chakra here. This is about awakening your intuition. If you had a word for this year, it would be intuition. So how can you start to trust that third eye space, that intuition, your gut, Let your inner knowledge guide you. Okay, Capricorns, that is everything. Happy 2025. Just a reminder that I do have those year ahead readings. The link will be in the description down below, and you can use the code YouTube for 15% off. I hope to see you there. I would love to do a year ahead reading for you. And if not, I'll see you next month. All right, let's move on to Taurus. Happy 2025, Tauruses! I hope that the new year treats you well. I hope that it is full of everything you're hoping for, and I hope that it's your year. I know 2024 was a heavier year for a lot of people. It was a difficult year filled with a lot of hectic energy, a lot of change, a lot of difficulty. So I hope 2025 is a bit easier on your heart and your soul, and it looks very exciting. First off, let's just jump right into it, and we have the reversed High Priestess here. So the reversed High Priestess, she's a little out of her intuition. She's a little out of touch with her soul, and it's time for you to balance that. You've been moving so fast. Life has been moving so fast. So much has been happening with you. There have been changes and expectations and appointments and so much that you've had to figure out. And it's sort of like in the hustle of everyday life and in the hustle of everything that you've got going on in your life, you've forgotten yourself a little bit, you've like disconnected a little bit. And so in those times of quiet, in those times where things slow down, it can feel very overwhelming, and it can feel like a lot, and it can feel heavy, or it can feel very stressful and panicky and anxiety. And we have the High Priestess saying, okay, let's come back to ourselves. Let's slow down and let's start to find this balance so that your energy starts to infinitely flow again. Because you know what? By taking a step back at the beginning of the year and really balancing and going into yourself, you're going to help this sort of like victimize, the world is against you, bad things keep happening, I'm so stressed, I'm so overwhelmed, I just need everything to pause for a moment. That energy is going to calm down. It's going to help you feel like you're supported again, because guess what? You have so many people around you. You have friends that are desperately trying to connect with you. You have people who really want to brighten up your day. And it's been hard because I feel like there's a bit of this isolation, and this could be just from being so busy that there's just not time right now. But there's also this sense, Taurus, of pulling back a little bit because you tend to self-isolate a little bit, or you're just telling yourself, no, I just don't have time, I need to do all of this. But you do, and you need that connection with other people to move you forwards, to allow you to feel good about your life and to help you connect with yourself. Sometimes it's hard, like I said, in those quieter moments, it can feel very overwhelming. So a good transition would be to start with friends and connection, because you are carrying some heavy burdens and you need to let them down. Some of these will naturally happen as January unfolds. You'll feel some stress leave, you'll get some answers, but also it's time to talk with your friends. It's time to talk to those in your community. Yes, this can be family and like a loved one, but this card specifically does mean friends. So it's like, allow them to hold some of your burden. You're not burdening them. You're just helping yourself to lift your own, because you've been through a harder time. This has been a really stressful time where have had moments where you almost don't recognize yourself, but you're just going up, and this is the month that you get to lift yourself up. But these next 4 cards, they seem really great. However, you need to take that step back. You need to look at your soul and be like, what do I need every day? What do I need more consistently? How can I connect with more people? And how can I start to balance in a way that feels really good to me? And then a decision will come up, and you will start to realize, yeah, I need to make this decision. Whether it's a very exciting decision for some of you, or something like, yeah, I gotta cut this out, or I need to go for this, there is going to be a decision coming up a bit later in the month, and I really don't think you'll be faced with this decision unless you really look at these things we've been talking about. And if you are faced with this decision, you could just ignore it completely because you'll be so overwhelmed and so out of your energy. So it's really important that you look at these things, at these parts of yourself more carefully, so you're prepared for this decision, because what this decision gets to rocket you into when you listen to that intuition and you flow is the star. It's this coming back to yourself fully. This is where sometimes you need to put some of your energy first, but it also is like, star of your own show, you're feeling really good. It's saying, I don't need to be taking all the action. It's finally taking a foot off of that gas go, go, go pedal and starting to do things for you and starting to feel more confident in your identity, confident in your energy, and confident in yourself, a little bit more unshakable. This is about finding stability and reconnecting back to you because you lost it a little bit there. And that is all I have for you for the cards, but let's look at your card for the month to help balance your energy, which I think this is going to be even more important than some other readings. The snake. I don't have them all memorized. They're very specific cards and there's like 78 different animals. So let me just read this to you. This is the guardian of the unawakened magic and creative potential. The snake is a symbol of our highest potential. It is said that Shakti, our creative life force, lies dormant at the base of our spine, in the form of a coiled snake. Regardless of whether this image rings true for you, it's well worth considering the amount of unawakened or untapped potential within. What would life look like if you woke it up? How could you stir it from its slumber? Make haste. The snake card appears when there's no more time to waste. You need to tap back in. You need to awaken back to yourself. When in balance, you're going to feel prosperous, creative, and charismatic. When you're out of balance, you're going to start and stop many things, sort of this like frenzied mode. To bring back into balance is yoga or meditation, or just something for that soul. A little bit of soul work to reawaken the soul. All right, and now your 2025 card is the turtle. Look how cute. I was really excited to pull this card for you. I know that it means an adventure. So let's see more specifically what it's all about. The themes here are ancient soul, grounded, trusting, and at home in the self. How more appropriate. Just this starting off journey, just this starting off the year in this energy. And it's like, yeah, the self. At home with yourself is really, really strong just in the year in general. It is wonderful to be in the presence of a turtle personality or turtle energy. The turtle has a strong relationship with the earth and water elements simultaneously. So this is water and earth energy. Maybe you need water and earth people in your life some more. This helps to ground and connect them to deeper truths in life, no matter where your travels lead them. Maybe you need to have a little conversation with a water sign, and that's going to help you connect more too. This helps to ground and connect them to the deeper truths of life, no matter where their travels lead them. Turtle energy is behind all great writers and storytellers, as they collect life experiences under their shells for later use. The most potent turtle energy helps us close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. When in balance, you're going to feel peaceful, adventurous, and productive this year. And when you're out of balance, you'll slow down to a halt. To bring into balance, have an adventure. This can be big or small, but it's the year of adventure and it's the year of coming home to yourself, Taurus. So I'm excited to see what this month and what this year brings for you. And I hope you have a great month. Just a reminder, I do have my 2025 year ahead readings available. And just because I love you, you can use the code YouTube for 15% off one. I hope to see you to break down your year, but also I just hope that you have a good year and a good month. So with that being said, I'll see you next month. And now let's move on to Virgo. Happy January and happy 2025, Virgos. This year has been a chaotic one. I know that there's been lots of like high highs and low lows and chaotic in-betweens, but 2025, let's hope it has a bit better energy, and we can see we'll start off with the month of January and see at least how the year begins. So you're a little out of alignment with yourself, with your soul. I think last month we were talking about how there's been a lot of change recently and you're really having to start to kind of rebuild from that and get new perspective from that, and you're still just a scooch out of alignment with your own energy. Now, normally I would say this is just you, but I think you're just out of alignment with the bigger picture. You've been just sort of trying to move on from this thing that you haven't been looking towards a new future as much. And so it's starting to get back into your intuition, getting back into your energy and figuring out what this means, because you had this idea of what your life was going to look like. And it's sort of saying with the Queen of Swords here, it's time to admit that you have a bit of a new vision, time to admit that things have changed and really embrace this fresh start. This doesn't mean you're starting from zero. This doesn't mean you're starting over again, but it does mean that something else is pulling you forwards. And it's time to embrace this new year with brand new energy and be like, you know what? let's get the vision board out, let's get everything mapped out and decide what it is that I want to do, because it is time for a new chapter. It's time to start the vision from scratch. And maybe you bring old things in there, but it's kind of like, okay, if I just woke up in this life and started today, what would I want to do? It's okay if it's different, it's okay if things change, but this is really on an emotional level. This is on a thing that feels easy and flowy and fulfilled. I don't think for a lot of you this is like career quite as much. I feel like that can kind of not stay the same, but I don't think you need to be switching big careers. You don't have to be doing all this crazy stuff with that. It's more on like an emotional and a personal level of like, where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Right? Right now, you're sort of faced with two outcomes. You can keep going the way you're going and sort of bring yourself back down, or just sort of stay with the remnants of this lower year, these lower moments, or you can go towards this abundance. It's saying you don't have to look at career and abundance because it's already available to you. What you really need to do is work on the alignment and emotional aspect of it. And the first thing you can start to do is take those baby steps towards what your heart has been pulling you towards, and also start to fall in love with the flow of your life again. I feel like your routines have been kind of all over the place. You've been feeling a little bit disjointed from yourself and your routines, and just like falling in love with the flow of your life. And it's like, how can you start to take baby steps to start to fall in love with it again? Because then once you do, we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is literally, I think, this high priestess like turned around. It's someone who is so in flow with their energy, with their emotions, with their soul, that you just feel so flowy and effortless. There's a lot of queen energy here, right? We have the Queen of Swords, we have the Queen of Cups, we have this flow. This is the energy of love and following that love. This doesn't have to be for relationships. It can be, but it doesn't have to just be that. It's like the flow of being in love with your own life again. And then for your energy card of the month, we pulled the rabbit. And I'm going to pull it up from the book here because I don't have them all memorized. There's a lot of them. But I know that the rabbit is a little bit about living in a fearful state and being so sure bad things are going to happen. Yeah, it's afraid of everything, it's overwhelmed, it's frozen. It says the rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks and talks about it so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears and thanks the rabbit for such a good idea. Rabbit energy is alive when we are scared, most often about the future, and we become our own worst enemy. We spin up a dust cloud of fear and then complain to others that we are lost. Notice your thoughts and words, rabbit. They shape your destiny. It's saying it's time to recalculate, right? It's time to move on from this fear, from these bad things, and let them live in 2024 as we move on to a brand new year. When in balance, you're going to feel sensitive, but that's not a bad thing, right? You're going to be feeling your emotions. You're going to be a problem solver and a good listener. You'll feel that steady forward momentum. When you're out of balance, you're going to talk fast, over-explain, and be very fearful. And to bring back into balance is a day of silence, a day to yourself, a day with your soul. So that is January for you. It's time to leave those icky 2024 feelings behind and move forwards with brand new energy. And your card for the year for 2025 is Fire Ants. So let's see what that is. Some fiery energy for you. Fiery energy for 2025. Love it. So the fire ant, it does say like aggressive, rigid thinking and following orders, but let's see what that means for your year. It says fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances, rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. How can you break free from drama and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. When in balance, you're thoughtful and disciplined. When you're out of balance, you'll argue, you'll feel like excess heat, you'll gossip, you'll feel like you're just stuck on something, you'll feel angry. And to bring into balance is solo time, it's night walks, it's walks with fresh air, anything that can help you cool down. I really think 2025 for you is about moving on and freedom. It's about like this rebirth energy. So I'm excited to see what it holds for you if you can allow yourself to fully embrace the moving on this year. I think it'll bring you to places you never thought possible. Okay, Virgo, I hope that resonates. If it does, leave a little comment and let me know. And don't forget that I do have my one-to-one year ahead readings available, and you can use the code YouTube for 15% off so we can make sure 2025 is aligned for you. You know what's coming, you know the opportunities, what to look out for, how to align your energy, and just have it all figured out. So I hope to see you there. If not, I will see you next month. But that's all I have for you, Earth signs. Let's look at some important astrological transits this month that I think you should look out for. I know that we have a lot about action this month for a lot of signs, and we do have Mars still in retrograde, which will, like I was saying to Capricorn, sort of push back on that action that needs to be taken. It'll sort of be a little bit difficult, but you do need to find the strength to push through this transit a little bit. However, it does move into Cancer on January 6th, which means there's going to be a lot of reflection and forced reflection on our emotions and how they are impacting our actions. And I think for a lot of you Earth signs, this is going to be really powerful to figure out what's actually fueling what you're doing. Is it really what you want, or is it a fear? Is it an insecurity? Is it hurt? Is it something you need to heal and look at? And this is really going to come to light starting January 6th. For a while, like I said, you can listen to Divine Gossip Girls, my podcast, every month for astrological updates to see when it moves back out of Cancer and when Mars goes direct again. But starting January 6th, that energy is going to be present. We also on January 2nd have Venus entering Pisces. So there's this love for closing chapters and releasing, but also it's a great time to like really connect on that soul level to yourself and to like spiritual things and to anything that your soul calls. So your soul will be like open and ready to work with it, and it'll be extra powerful for like healing the heart space and really connecting to your heart. So for anyone who pulled that like, okay, you need to tap back into your soul, this is going to be really powerful. So I think especially for Taurus and Virgos, that transit's key for you. This is starting January 2nd. This is going to be present for the whole month, and it will be changing sometime in February. So really allow that like spiritual woo-woo side of yourself to come out in a way that you want it to. Like, how is your soul asking to be worked with? And it's going to start off right from the beginning from January 2nd. So I think both Taurus and Virgo pulled that reversed High Priestess as their first card. So it really does make sense that it's like, bam, right off the bat, soul work. So I hope that that helps. There's a bunch of other transits, but those are the ones I think are the most important for you Earth signs. If you have any ideas of anything else you'd like to see in these videos, let me know. But that's all I've got for you. Happy 2025, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in February. Okay, bye.